The next passage that I am dealing with is found again in the Gospel of Luke, Luke 15, 1 through 10. And as we observe this, Jesus has just told people count the cost in 14:25 through 35. And it's interesting who's following Jesus at this point of him telling them to count the cost. First, it's tax gatherers and sinners. One of the most hated, if not the most hated in Jewish society, were the Jewish tax gatherers that would give their money to Rome. That was the worst sin in Israel. And then it says there were some people taking notes on him, though, who were hostile to him. And it is the Pharisees and their scribes, their learned people of the oral law. And in my class, some of you know that we have discussed the oral law. And I find this great contrast. Tax gatherers and sinners are following Jesus because it's implying that they are considering counting the cost of what it would mean to follow Jesus. But the Pharisees, who are the separated ones, the self-righteous ones, have a sense of entitlement that they're good and they're not like sinners. One of the things that made Jesus mad was when people were self-righteous and felt that they were better than others. This man receives sinners, and not only that, but eats with them. In Jewish society, you chose very carefully who you ate with because they had no forks, spoons, knives. You dipped into the same food area with your hands. And that would defile the Pharisees if they did that with sinners. They were so unclean. But what I love is how this expresses the heart of Jesus in 4 through 10. Jesus says, "What man among you, if you had 100 sheep and you lost one of them, does not leave the 99 in the open pasture and go after the one who is lost until he finds it?" What Jesus is saying here is that his disciples who count the cost. You want to know a mark of a real disciple of Jesus? There's a love for lost souls. There's a love for sinners. Not for the sin, but there's a great burden among Jesus' true people for those who are lost. You know, we are seeing a lot of very odd things in social media. We're seeing gender confusion. We're seeing homosexuality. We're seeing, you can give a whole list of what we are seeing. And in Jesus' day, because of the Hellenistic culture, that was often out there. And yet Jesus had a love for sinners. He set his face toward Jerusalem. Remember that key verse? Because he had a love. We need in our mindset as Christians to not look disparaging at sinners. Yes, we know they do things, but so did we. But as Jesus shows, the shepherd goes out, finds that lost sheep, and then he rejoices in verse 6 that he found that lost sheep. I know that as Christians we can sometimes be appalled, but is there in our hearts a love for the sinner? A compassion and understanding that they need the Lord and only He can help them in the condition that they're in? Sheep would often, because of their low intelligence, they could get lost. Jesus didn't scold. He went and found the sheep, Same thing, the illustration of the silver coin. When they find that lost coin, rejoice. In the same way, I tell you, there is joy at the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. There needs to be, among God's people, a love for the lost, of seeking those who are lost in spite of that condition they may be in, to offer to people that Jesus can save, forgive, and help the struggles that these people, as we see today, are in. And that's a mark of a true born-again Christian, that they have a deep love, a concern for lost souls. And that's what's primarily on their heart when they see those tax gatherers, those sinners, and that Jesus came to save all of us who were in that condition.